Once, the deepest wounds are not visible to the naked eye. They hide silently, embedded in the shadows of your mind and heart. These invisible scars are the legacy left by narcissistic abuse wounds that echo in your psyche long after the toxic voices have faded. But healing them is not just possible, it is necessary for reclaiming your life and your true self. Many people who have suffered narcissistic abuse struggle with feelings they can't easily explain: confusion, self-doubt, anxiety, depression, and an overwhelming sense of emptiness. These are not signs of weakness or failure. Instead, they are the psychological consequences of a prolonged attack on the very core of your being. Narcissistic abuse is designed to break down your self-esteem and distort your perception, leaving you isolated and vulnerable. What makes these wounds particularly difficult to heal is that they are often invisible, even to yourself. The damage that happens inside your psyche, the complex architecture of your mind, where memories, emotions, and self-concept reside. Narcissistic abuse chips away at your sense of reality, making you question your own feelings, your judgments, and even your memories. This manipulation is called gaslighting, a tactic used to create confusion and dependency. Carl Jung, one of the most profound psychologists in history, introduced the idea of the shadow, the unconscious part of our personality that contains repressed weaknesses, desires, and instincts. When you endure narcissistic abuse, parts of your authentic self are forced into this shadow as a survival mechanism. You learn to hide your true feelings, mask your pain, and adapt to the toxic environment in order to survive. Over time, this results in a fractured self, where the person you show to the world is very different from the person you truly are inside. Jung also taught us that the shadow is not something to fear or reject. It holds the key to deep healing and wholeness. When you begin to confront these hidden parts of yourself, your pain, your anger, your vulnerability, you start the process of integration. Integration means bringing these separated parts back into consciousness so that you can heal the wounds and reclaim your identity. Healing invisible scars left by narcissism requires more than just time. It requires intention, courage, and self-compassion. You must be willing to face uncomfortable truths and accept yourself fully, including the parts you may have tried to deny or suppress. This is the essence of Jungian individuation, a lifelong journey toward becoming whole. By embracing every aspect of yourself, it is vital to affirm to yourself, "I am not defined by the abuse I endured. My worth is inherent and unshakable." These words are not just empty affirmations. They are truths that need to be internalized to counteract the lies implanted by narcissistic manipulation. Narcissistic abuse attempts to convince you that you are worthless, broken, or unlovable. Reversing this narrative is an essential step in your healing journey. Furthermore, it is important to recognize the resilience you have shown simply by surviving. Surviving narcissistic abuse is an act of immense strength. Many people in similar situations do not make it out emotionally intact. You have endured something profoundly damaging, and you are still here. That alone is a testament to your inner power. In this process of healing, it helps to learn about the ways narcissistic abuse impacts the brain and nervous system. Research shows that prolonged exposure to toxic relationships can cause changes in brain chemistry, affect memory, and heighten stress responses. These biological effects explain why many survivors experience symptoms like chronic anxiety or emotional numbness. Understanding this can help reduce self-blame and encourage seeking therapeutic support. Jungian psychology also emphasizes the importance of symbols, dreams, and the unconscious in healing trauma. Dreams can offer insights into unresolved conflicts and reveal hidden emotions. Paying attention to your dreams and journaling your experiences can serve as a bridge to your unconscious mind, helping you bring light to the darkness. In addition to self-work, community and support are vital. Healing from narcissistic abuse is not a solitary path. Connecting with others who understand your experience can validate your pain and offer encouragement. Therapy, especially modalities informed by Jungian or trauma psychology, can provide tools and guidance tailored to your needs. Above all, healing invisible scars is a journey of reclaiming your voice and your boundaries. Narcissistic abuse often involves the erosion of personal boundaries, emotional, mental, and physical. Relearning how to set and enforce healthy boundaries is a key milestone. It is an act of self-respect and protection that rebuilds your sense of safety in the world. Remember, your invisible scars are real, but they do not define you. You have the capacity to heal, grow, and transform. Each step forward, no matter how small, leads a victory against the damage narcissism has caused. You are not alone. You are worthy of healing, and you are on a path toward profound restoration of your mind, body, and soul. The journey to heal the invisible scars left by narcissistic abuse is a process of awakening, your gradual reclaiming of your true self from the shadows of manipulation and pain. One of the most profound teachings of Carl Jung is that healing begins when you bring the unconscious into consciousness. In other words, when you start to recognize and understand what has been hidden inside you, you begin to dissolve its power over your life. Narcissistic abuse often disconnects you from your own emotions. You may have learned to numb yourself, to suppress your feelings to avoid conflict or rejection. This emotional dissociation is a survival mechanism, but it comes at a cost. It weakens your connection to yourself and clouds your ability to trust your own experiences. Healing means re-engaging with your feelings, even the painful ones, and allowing yourself to feel them fully. This reconnection is essential to reclaiming your authenticity. Jung's concept of the anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine aspects within each person, is also important here. Narcissistic abuse can distort the balance between these energies. For example, you may have suppressed your anima, your emotional, intuitive side, to cope with the coldness or control exerted by the abuser. Healing involves nurturing both these inner aspects so that you become whole again, able to access your intuition, compassion, strength, and clarity. Self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools you can use in your healing. After abuse, survivors often carry deep shame, guilt, and self-blame. You might feel responsible for what happened or believe that you somehow caused the abuse, but these are false narratives implanted by the narcissist to maintain control. It is vital to counteract these lies with the truth. I am not to blame. I am deserving of love and respect. Practicing self-compassion rewires your brain's response to trauma, gradually replacing fear and shame with acceptance and kindness. Another crucial step is learning to recognize and dismantle the internalized narcissistic voice, that harsh, critical inner dialogue that echoes the abuser's words. This internal critic can sabotage your healing by reinforcing feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness. Jungian therapy often works with this concept by helping survivors externalize and dialogue with this voice, challenging its falsehoods and reclaiming their personal power. Healing also requires setting clear boundaries, both internally and externally. Narcissistic abuse thrives on blurred boundaries and codependency. Re-establishing boundaries means learning to say no without guilt, protecting your emotional space, and refusing to accept manipulative behaviors from others. This practice restores your autonomy and strengthens your sense of self. It's also important to honor your pace. Healing invisible scars isn't linear. You may feel progress one day and setbacks the next. This is normal and part of the process. Celebrate small victories, the moments when you choose yourself over fear, when you trust your intuition, or when you express your truth. These are signs of resilience and growth. In this process, journaling can be a powerful tool. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, and dreams helps you map your internal landscape, giving voice to emotions that may feel overwhelming or confusing. It also fosters self-reflection and self-awareness, key aspects of Jungian individuation. Mindfulness and meditation practices are equally helpful. They train your mind to stay present, to observe thoughts and feelings without judgment. This presence creates space between you and your pain, allowing healing to emerge naturally. Some survivors find guided meditations focused on inner child healing or shadow work particularly effective. Therapeutic support is invaluable. Trauma-informed therapists, especially those trained in Jungian psychology, EMDR, eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing, or somatic experiencing, can help you navigate this complex healing journey. Therapy provides a safe container to explore painful memories, develop coping strategies, and rebuild your sense of safety. Remember, healing from narcissistic abuse is reclaiming your soul's narrative. The story you were told about yourself, weak, unworthy, broken, is not your true story. You are a whole, valuable being deserving of love, peace, and joy. This truth is the foundation for rebuilding your life. Your invisible scars are a testament to what you survived, not what defines you. Through courage, self-compassion, and conscious effort, you can transform those scars into symbols of strength and wisdom. This transformation is the essence of Jungian healing, the journey from fragmentation to wholeness. Every moment you choose healing over pain, awareness over confusion, and love over fear, you step closer to the radiant self that was always inside you. Your journey is sacred. Trust in it. Trust in yourself. Healing the invisible scars left by narcissistic abuse also involves reclaiming your narrative, a story you tell yourself about who you are, what you deserve, and what your future holds. Narcissistic abuse rewrites this narrative in harmful ways, implanting beliefs that you are unworthy, unlovable, and powerless. This internalized story influences your emotions, decisions, and relationships long after the abuse ends. But you have the power to rewrite this story, reclaiming your identity and your life. Carl Jung emphasized the importance of symbols and myths in shaping our understanding of ourselves. Your healing journey can be seen as a hero's journey, a transformation where you face your inner darkness, confront your wounds, and emerge stronger, wiser, and whole. Embracing this mythic framework can empower you to see yourself not as a victim, but as a survivor and healer. Part of this transformation is learning to trust yourself again. Narcissistic abuse erodes trust both in others and in your own judgment. You may question your feelings, memories, and instincts, doubting your ability to make good choices. Healing means rebuilding that trust, starting with small acts of self-care and self-respect. When you honor your boundaries and listen to your inner voice, you reinforce your capacity to navigate life authentically. Another vital aspect is recognizing and healing the wounded inner child. The inner child represents the vulnerable part of you that experienced pain, neglect, or abandonment upon the target of narcissistic manipulation. Healing this inner child involves acknowledging their pain, comforting them, and nurturing their sense of safety. Techniques such as visualization, journaling letters to your inner child, or guided meditations can facilitate this process. Shadow work, a central concept in Jungian psychology, is also essential. The shadow contains the parts of ourselves we reject or hide, often because of shame or fear. Narcissistic abuse forces many parts of the self into the shadow to survive the trauma. Bringing these parts into awareness is uncomfortable but necessary. It allows you to reclaim lost aspects of your identity and integrate them into a coherent whole. Healing is also about reclaiming your power. Narcissistic abuse strips away autonomy and control, leaving survivors feeling powerless. Reclaiming power means recognizing your agency. You have the right to choose how you respond, who you allow in your life, and how you define your worth. This process can be gradual and challenging but is deeply liberating. Community and connection to play an important role in healing invisible scars. Isolation is common after narcissistic abuse, as the abuser often severs your support networks. Rebuilding connections with trusted friends, family, or support groups helps restore your sense of belonging and safety. Sharing your story with empathetic listeners can validate your experience and reduce shame. Mind-body healing modalities complement psychological work. Practices such as yoga, somatic therapy, breathwork, or energy healing can help release trauma stored in the body. Narcissistic abuse often triggers chronic stress responses that manifest physically. By reconnecting with your body and calming the nervous system, you create a foundation for deeper emotional healing. It's crucial to celebrate progress no matter how small. Healing invisible scars is not about perfection but about movement toward wholeness. Every time you stand up for yourself, express your truth, or practice self-love, you reinforce your healing. Remember that setbacks are part of the process, not signs of failure. Finally, integrating spiritual wisdom can offer profound comfort and guidance. Jung himself believed in the transformative power of spirituality and the quest for meaning. Whether through meditation, prayer, nature, or contemplative practices, connecting with something greater than yourself can provide hope and resilience during difficult times. The invisible scars of narcissistic abuse may never fully disappear, but they can transform from sources of pain into markers of your strength, growth, and resilience. Your journey toward healing is a testament to the power of the human spirit to endure, adapt, and thrive. You are more than the trauma you endured. You are a radiant, whole being capable of profound healing and joy. Embrace your journey with courage and compassion. The path to reclaiming your true self lies ahead. The final phase of healing the invisible scars left by narcissistic abuse is embracing the profound transformation that emerges from your journey. You have faced darkness, confronted painful truths, and endured emotional storms. Now, you stand at the threshold of renewal or rebirth of your soul, mind, and spirit. Healing is not about forgetting the past or pretending the wounds never existed. It is about acknowledging your pain, integrating your experiences, and reclaiming your power to create a life filled with authenticity, love, and joy. The invisible scars you carry are not signs of weakness but badges of resilience, reminding you of your capacity to overcome. One of the most powerful tools you have is your story. Sharing your journey, whether through conversations, writing, art, or advocacy, transforms pain into purpose. It connects you with others who have walked similar paths, building communities of healing and support. By speaking your truth, you dissolve shame and empower yourself and others to break free from the cycle of abuse. Jungian psychology teaches that true healing involves embracing all parts of yourself, the light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability. This wholeness is the source of profound peace. You become a living example of transformation, showing that even the deepest wounds can be the catalysts for growth and wisdom. In this process, self-love becomes your foundation. It is a radical, the act of courage to prioritize your needs, honor your feelings, and nurture your well-being. You learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you may have denied yourself for years. This self-love is not selfish, it is necessary for your survival and flourishing. Boundaries to become sacred. You protect your energy, your time, and your heart. Saying no becomes an act of empowerment rather than guilt. You attract relationships that respect and uplift you, while releasing those that diminish your light. Remember that healing is a lifelong journey. It ebbs and flows like the tides, sometimes calm and sometimes turbulent. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every step forward. Your invisible scars tell a story of survival, strength, and the unstoppable will to heal. You are not defined by what was done to you. You are defined by how you rise. The narrative of narcissistic abuse does not have to be your final chapter. With courage, insight, and compassion, you can write a new story, one of healing, wholeness, and radiant self. Trust in your inner wisdom. Trust in the process. Trust in the incredible power within you to transform pain into purpose and scars into strength. Your journey is sacred. Your healing is possible. and your true self awaits whole, radiant, and free. Thank you for watching this deep journey into healing the invisible scars left by narcissistic abuse. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below with one word that describes how you feel after watching. Your voice matters. Don't forget to subscribe to Healing Echoes for more content that guides you toward emotional freedom and inner peace. Together, we heal and grow.